Shaun Chipperfield versus Scott Pope. Shaun Chipperfield will break, having won the lag, and he breaks dry. And as good as Shaun Chipperfield is, he needs to be careful here because Scott Pope can be a very dangerous opponent. He's already taken a lot of scalps this season. He's had deep runs in this and in the Challenger event of the Ultimate Pool where he made a semi-final. I know certainly in this event, I think the first event, and he had a win over Neil Raybone. He can be a very dangerous player. And he's having a pretty good season. But the man on the left-hand side of the arena is also having a very good season. He's hit some real form. Of course, he made the final of the last tour, the Jason Owen Open, played Gareth Hibbett in the final. This is now just about the ball, just above the 8. Will pass into left centre, and he's got a nice angle now to drop down on it. But then he has to get from that ball down to the one on the bottom cushion, so this isn't absolutely plain sailing. Needs a good cue ball. Ran too far. I'm assuming that he was going to take the one to middle next, but possibly not. He may have just landed down on this one with a plan to play that as his last ball. Again, has he come far enough? Just there, but I think possibly just slightly hampered by the yellow, but also just has the wrong angle to land on the 8 as well, so he may have to run into the 8 ball here. Just cannon it towards the bottom left pocket. This is still pretty tricky. And he's having to dig down as well, which increases the level of difficulty just to control that cannon into the 8. That's cost him the shot. Could well cost him the frame. Shaun Chipperfield has all the time in the world if he wants it, but very attacking player. And we'll certainly be going game here. That was lovely. Just controlled the cannon. Yeah, played a little flick off of the red just to open the pocket. Oof. I guess he could play. He had he could take a bit of a liberty with the shot because he knew he was always going to be leaving it safe, but punched it a bit harder than I expected him to. Thought he could have just rolled it in and played onto the yellow in bulk and come back down the table. He decided to stun across. Scott could play a telling shot here, though. Something, yeah, just not a full enough contact. And now it should be frame over. First frame, Shaun Chipperfield.
Next match on table number 7, Zach Shepherd, Liam Gollop. Zach Shepherd, Liam Gollop, table number 7.
The power he generated into that shot, absolutely incredible. What a great shot. And just, it developed everything as well. Fantastic. I think he's trying to get further down the table to maybe have the top of these two reds cut back into the left centre, but this is still maybe not, maybe Yeah, he's trying to pot and develop at the same time. But that was a very nasty table. He had to do a lot of work to try and open that up. And left a fairly simple chance for Scott. I don't know why he's gone into that ball. I really do not. He did not need to. He could have landed on it. Just land on it, play it up the cushion, leave yourself. It's a good recovery, very nice recovery, but he's going to have a tough black. Don't think that the black doubles, so he's going to have to leave it thin. Well, yeah, maybe it does double. Yeah. Didn't think it would go past the red, but he's okay. He's given himself a chance. But again, I'm just not sure why he's trying to move that red up the side. Looked like he could just pot that, leave himself the angle on the one to right corner to then drop onto the black. Oh. Shaun Chipperfield was out of his chair with his playing cue. What about this for a break? Huge. Just go back and have a look at this shot that you played earlier. I mean, how do you generate so much pace on a cue ball to the ball to the middle pocket? How does that? You have to be so accurate. There's just a few first round matches hanging around. Enrico Forgione is 6-4 up against Muhammad Adam. Muhammad Adam is he's from the Reunion Islands? Islands just off the coast of South America. Incredible. Shane Thompson beat Carl Hoff 7 frames to 1. Mark Williams 5-1 against Richard Chapman. Jake Dillon Newlove's beaten Jamie O'Donnell 7 frames to 2. Jimmy Croxton 4-2 up against Craig Wilson. Pat Ward 4-0 against Andy Barker. There's some round 2 games which are already completed. Dom Cooney beat Joe Warren 7-1. Josh Kane beat Joe Hayward 7-2. Dylan Leary has beaten Nick Taylor 7 frames to 0. Jamie Clements is 6-3 up and on the hill against Carl Morris. Adam Bassu's on the hill against Joe Nolte, 6-1. Ben Flack, after his marathon first round game, is 4-2 up against Charlie Minter. Daniel Bishop is on fire at the moment. He won his first match, I think 7-0. He's beaten Tony Blount 7-1. Tom Cousins has beaten Rich Wharton by the same scoreline, and Tom Price has beaten Simon Linus by the same scoreline. Connor Tracy 5-3 up against Mike Beckett. Mike Larkins 6-1 against Michael Clark. Lee Washbrook 4-1 against Jasper Simmons. And John Egan, Tommy Lewis, 1 frame each. That is a careless mistake. Unless, of course, he couldn't quite get through to the pocket. I'm not sure. I was looking at the scores, so maybe he just played it to cover the pocket. But now Shaun's got the perfect line now to start working on these 3 reds. He's just going to play a screw shot. Well, that's a little bit careless. He's closer to the cushion than he'd like. I think he's just got the angle on the top ball to come on and off the top cushion with a touch aside. Yeah, he was perfect. Scott Pope beat Uppish Mystery 7-1 in his first round game. Shaun Chipperfield had a bye through the first round. This is his first game. He's going to have to pull one out of the bag here. That's a thin cut. Such a natural. Delightful to watch. Doesn't have the cue ball control of some of the players, which can get him into a touch of bother like it did there, but he just pots his way out of trouble so well. He's got so much firepower. It's 2-1. It's still on serve though, so Scott Pope with the break in the 4th frame. Scott had a chance in that frame. All about the cue ball. Just a soft stun. Again, would be much easier if he was dead straight. Just a touch more angle, but still controllable. That was the issue, heading towards the yellow, just a narrow space to land in, but he's okay. He can just now stun between the gap of these two yellows and just hold the cue ball there. That's just caught the first red full ball. He's got away with one there a little bit. He's played a good recovery shot, but that could have been worse. Fair play to him. Turn the cue ball over, and he gets, I just heard Shaun Chipperfield say, he got the win and that's all that counts. And that's exactly right. As they say, there's no pictures on a scorecard. Scott Pope levels it up to each. A strange game so far. Both players have had chances in each of the frames. We always knew this was going to be open and attacking. This literally has no chance of going defensive. Neither player will be covering pockets and trying to turn this into a negative match. Both very attacking, open players. So yellows definitely look a better ball. Well, actually, do they? Do they? He doesn't have an opener anyway. That was going to be my next line. But actually, I'm not even sure they do look better. I think definitely reds. I only mentioned yellows to start with because of the little triangle around the black, where the yellow pots and the red doesn't, but he's got a ball above it that he can develop that, so I think he's absolutely fine. There's a really well controlled cannon, so he's going to be now looking to leave an angle on the one just above the 8 ball to come across into that triangle and develop one bad red, where he's going to leave it low and leave it just high to the middle. He's got a couple of options here. I think he's got an angle on the one to the middle that he can screw down into it. Bit of risk associated with that. I think he's still got the thin cut, but the cue ball's going to be tearing around the table. Let's wait for thin. And he just inevitably realised that he couldn't get on the last red, and he's just tried to push that over the pocket, but he's landed short. Scott's just going to hide the cue ball behind the yellow at the top. Again, just a touch clumsy. That should have been tucked in nicely behind the yellow on the top cushion. He's just given Shaun. Probably can't see this directly, but he can just turn it over with a touch aside, or he can go cushion first. This one cushion escape shouldn't have been on. Don't think he's got the thin cut. He could try and plant. I was going to say plant red onto red. That's what he's played. Just try and push the one nearest the pocket a bit closer. But he's gone straight and off. Still has to be aware of these two yellows on the left-hand side. I mean, they look pretty much dead set for a plant to bottom. Not dead set to the pocket, but dead set that he could pot the one over the pocket, but he's not going to want to play that because these yellows could have gone anywhere. Wow. He's tried to punch that in and develop the two on the left-hand side, but taking his eye off the pot. Just play the yellow into the gap between yellow and red. Push it towards the pocket. Unless actually, can he see past the one closest to the pocket to pot the other one? I don't think he can. But I think the plant's definitely there. Just play the yellow into the gap between red and yellow. As he left the gap, I think there is a gap there. He can screw straight back out. Yeah. It was there indeed. And now the one over left corner will be next to come up to the middle of the table to leave an angle over the one over the middle to come back down for the black. I personally don't like going this way. So much more can go wrong with that shot. Don't understand why he's played it that way. Genuinely don't understand why he's played it that way. If he plays the one over the left corner, brings a cue ball just above the centre line, then he's got the one over the middle to just drop back down on the black. I mean, the only thing that can go wrong is if you take the one over the middle first. Well, Scott just has to take solace in the fact that it's still on break. He's only 3-2 behind. He's got the break in the next. It's a good recovery. Fair play to him to put that previous frame behind him, but with 6 frames played, you could make an argument that Scott Pope could be 5-1 ahead. He's had chances. Shows a good character and mental attitude to be able to put it behind him and just clear up the next frame. And he's going to get another chance because that's a dry break. And these reds look okay. I think everything has a pocket. Nothing really needs developing. Again, just really about cue ball. Just a couple of soft screw shots. We've got a screw shot to middle here just to come back on the similar line to what he's on. The red just below the black passes into bottom right. So then it's just a case of navigating from there onto the one at the bottom of the table, which I'm pretty sure passes below the yellow. So may have to go about them a different way now. I think he would have liked to have been straighter on this to hold position for the one just below the 8 ball, but may just have to run across for the one along the bottom now and then leave that red to one of the middles. Just that extra inch or so of pace has caused him a big headache here. Possibly, I was going to say, maybe play the one below the black now. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's pretty good indeed. I think you can just screw straight back for the one along the bottom rail. Just needs to take care of the pot. Nice. Shaun hasn't actually done very much wrong in this match. He finds himself 4-3 behind if this black goes in. But it's been brilliant stuff from Scott in the last couple of frames after that really big mistake in the previous. Scott's turn for a dry break. I think it has to be reds. Mainly dictated by the red that's gone over the right-hand corner. And especially if the red on the bottom cushion passes below the yellow to be able to plant or to pot, even if it doesn't actually, you can... Oh, wow, how well has he judged that? It's cannon into the yellow and landed on the red, but it's very close to it. Yeah, it's horrible when they're this close together. So easy to get the double hit. Played that really well. You feel one more difficult pot and a good cue ball and the hard work's done. Not quite. He's still really close to this one. He's got a similar shot to the one he had along the bottom rail. Can just play across it. No. Never gave that a chance. Always diving into the near knuckle. And another gilt edge chance is gifted to Scott Pope. Gotta say, Scott's confidence has gone up a level. He needs to make sure that he maintains this same level of focus, though, because it's so easy just to let your concentration slip. Maybe just get a little bit overconfident, and that can really hurt you when you're playing someone like Shaun Chipperfield. But Scott Pope now with a golden chance to go 2 frames ahead. And as I say, you could make an argument to say that he could have already feasibly won this match. He's had that many chances. Three to Scott Pope. Another huge break from Shaun. He really does contact the pack well. Now, you think it'd be reds, but the one near the middle pocket is right on that knuckle. It's one of those that it will probably drop but you need to be right behind it. Will it drop? It's just a couple of millimeters off that knuckle by the look of it, but you could make a case for yellows. In fact, I may even prefer them, because you could take the one on the bulk line first and develop the other, or the one closest to the cushion will double. That's not a difficult double. He's got the one just below it, which he could take long. In fact, the more I look at it, the more I like yellows. He's nominated. That's a bad miss. And that's what I said about that red. They're so difficult when they're just there. And Shaun aware that his problem now is at the bottom of the table with those two yellows converging on each other. One may plant on the other, but he's just buying himself some time now to be able to develop that situation. So he's pushed a yellow over the pocket. Scott's going to try and return favour at the bottom of the table. But I think Shaun would be more than happy just to develop this situation. Can he double one yellow up the table, just run off the face of it and push the other one across? I think he's going to be looking at developing both here. Yeah, just like so. That's a very nice shot, well executed. But there is just a bit of space behind that yellow that Scott could try and take control of the frame. Maybe room to the side of it as well. So you could attack it from either angle. Probably the ones on the side cushion would be better. Because I think you could go cushion first and open the pocket. But you've still got the one on the bulk line to think about. May go up and try and land on that bad ball now. That's what he's tried to do. And he's on it of a fashion. He's got it long to bottom corner. Doesn't need to do much with the cue ball. Can just play the cue ball naturally off the side cushion and down. That'll take care of itself so he can focus fully on the pot. Doesn't need to play it too hard. Just over pocket weight. If that drops, that's a very good shot. So now you can see just one good shot. Cushion first, pot it off the back of the yellow, and the table suddenly opened up.
There are still a few matches going on in the previous session, so we'll get to the remaining few matches when we can. On table 2,
Expected
Neil
them to pop
Toms,
that,
Callum
to be
Singleton.
honest.
Neil Toms, Callum Singleton, table 2. On
Comes
table
around the
3,
table looking at
Matt
it with some
Brearley,
concern.
Matthew Benson, Matt Brearley, Matthew Benson, table 3. On table 4, Terry Lamy, Shaun Storey. Terry Lamy, Shaun Storey, table 4. On table 5, John Rowe, Jamie Mantle.
So does the yellow pass
John Rowe, Jamie Mantle, table 5. On table
into bottom
6,
right?
Aaron Davies, Scott, David Stock. Aaron Davies,
If it
David
does, he
Stock,
can get on it now.
table 6. On table 9, Josh Corkett, Sam Boone.
Must do.
Josh Corkett, Sam Boone, table 9. On table 12, Gaz Royds, Ian Davenport. Gaz Royds, Ian Davenport, table 12. On table 13, Chris Hampson, Liam Leach. Chris Hampson, Liam Leach, table 13. On table 14, Ross White, Jack Schofield. Ross White, Jack Schofield, table 14. On table 16, Dan Eaton Lees, Osama Maskini. Dan Eaton Lees, Osama Maskini, table 16. On table 17, Ross Stern, Carl Sutton. Ross Stern, Carl Sutton.
Just ran on a little bit further than he wanted, but that's fine. He can, very, very responsive cloth, as he can just nip it back across the table.
On table 19,
Didn't try and do too much with it.
Matt Champ, Blenker here, table 19. On table 20, Eddie Barker.
Shaun Chipperfield pulls back a frame, now 5 frames to 4. Scott Pope had chances in that frame. Again, if he somehow loses this match, he'll look back on the chances that he's had. Cup breaking again. Been pretty good to him so far. Not this time. Dry break, and look how the balls have split. The trouble is, he's got a problem on the yellow that's in bulk. He's got a problem with the red that's sat behind the black and the yellow. They're all just on top of one another. The yellow nearest the bottom cushion only passes into one pocket. So it's not all bad news for Scott. I think you probably have to go yellows. I think you could probably make a case for either. The only reason I say yellows is because then if you can manipulate a shot to just be able to get that yellow in front of the black, it buys you the time you need to develop all the yellows, whereas you don't have that luxury with reds. So off your first shot you could pop the yellow to bottom cushion and then, as I say, manipulate a position where you can come back up table to take control of that black pocket, and that buys you the time you need. Shaun will be looking for some audacious finish here anyway. Just slightly hampered queuing, but do you know what? I think that's what he had in mind here. Whether it's to take control of that black pocket or whether it's just to get the cue ball at that end of the table to do something up here and try and develop the difficult yellow in bulk, I'm not sure. Shaun doesn't tend to do anything but attack from these situations, but this might be an occasion where he has to use the B plan. I think he's looking at the red cushion side of the 8-ball and trying to just push the 8-ball across, but oh, that's a great shot. Fair bit of risk associated with that shot. That could have gone wrong, but he's played it really well, and that was the key pocket. We said that right from the outset. When the black goes near a pocket, it's important to get control of that pocket. Two bad balls now for reds. The one behind the black and yellow, and the other one on the right hand side cushion. Flirting with the right middle pocket and possibly didn't need to. I think he was trying to get more side on that and just move the red. It's awkward, but he's got time on his side, so he doesn't need to be playing developing shots. You can just get them out naturally, just like so.
Next match on table 15, Adam Toms, Glenn Whitmore.
Causes Scott
Whitmore, table 15.
some headache. Clever shot, just trying to nudge the black across and open the path for that red, but maybe not
Next match on table
quite
11.
done
Jake
enough.
McCartney, Gary Fenton. Jake McCartney, Gary Fenton, table 11.
Scott going game here. If he'd have made that pot, all the reds are in the open, so yeah, just trying to go game. And Shaun's shot was cushioned first, and he just wants to push that 8 ball across an inch, half an inch would be enough. He's going to try the same shot again now, just a little bit harder this time. Yeah, that's what he wanted. Don't know if there's a gap. If there is a gap between black and yellow to be able to get through, which I think there is. Yeah, you can get a ball through there. So now he's got the luxury of leaving that red until last if he wants to. Surprised he's putting another ball up there. Now that's another ball he has to get back out again. I guess maybe just anticipating what Shaun's going to do. I'm not sure about that shot. Now Shaun can somehow tie up another one of these reds, which is what he tried to do. Just get a ball in behind, just to tie up another one, and then he can play the deliberate foul at the top of the table to push the yellow across the face of the 8 ball, cover the pocket. Well, I said at the top of the frame that neither one of these players would want to go tactically, but as always happens when as soon as that 8 ball goes near a pocket, then the frame just tends to lend itself to that. Obviously a huge frame in the context of the match. I think we might just see Shaun clip the red that he's closest, clip the yellow that he's closest to, maybe. Just double it back up. Or, yeah, just pushing another ball up in the mix at the top of the table, just trying to make things awkward. Scott could have a go at these again if he wanted. He's taking a bit of a chance, but I think it may be the right time to play the 4 ball plant. Red onto the 2 yellows to pot the one over the pocket and play it at a pace where you're guaranteed to get the red back out into open play, and everything else is waiting for him. But he just needs to be careful not to cover the path of the 8 ball. Well, that's... I think he's played to pot that because now Shaun can just... He can play a deliberate foul and get that yellow. I was going to say, don't think he'll want to play yellow onto red just yet, because that would give Scott 2 visits and everything's in the open, so just making it a bit awkward at the moment. Just making sure the finish isn't there. Still in the balance this frame. Believe it or not, there's advantage to reds, but this could quickly turn around with one good shot. Now that 8-ball's crowded, he could take a bit of a chance of the maybe just wants to get another yellow into that gap. Yeah, that's what I thought. Just crowd it a bit more. Yeah, exactly right. So just making sure he crowded the 8-ball before then playing the deliberate foul. Scott trying to play a delicate little shot, just open the gap up. Just push the 8 just closer to the pocket, but now he's just created a bit of space between the yellows.
Next match on table 20, Colin Cooper, Scott Gillespie. Colin Cooper, Scott Gillespie, table 20.
I think Shaun can take a liberty here. Play the deliberate foul, yellow onto red, and give Scott 2, because that black is not coming out of there. Oof. And that's pretty much the game plan. Just playing each other's balls now. So Shaun just closing the door. I think you've got to say, oh, this is such a strange frame. Just going to try and get both out here. I think he's just looked to see whether he can play the planted on the top cushion and come back and get the other yellow out. Up next, Chris Day against Chris Melling. Absolute feast of pool coming your way today. Seeing all the best players in action. Just going to see him lay a gentle snooker now. Again, a clever shot because it just brings his yellow away from that 8-ball. Just give himself a bit more space to be able to develop it in a minute. Put Scott in more trouble. And Scott really can't afford to give away 2 visits here, because you've got to say Shaun goes favourite to clear these up. And suddenly you think, from a position where Scott had a really good handle on this frame, Shaun's gone favourite now, for me. It's a pretty decent shot. He's but for Shaun, I think he can just go cushion first and move his bad ball. That's what he's going to do. Still needs one good one here, though. Played that shot with bottom spin, the previous shot, hoping that obviously when it contacts the object ball it turns in the top, so it would kick off that top cushion, but didn't quite come out as planned. I think he had a slightly fuller contact with it than he was hoping for, but that was a clever shot. Left a tough cue ball and put the yellow in the path of the red as well. So, well, a chance for Shaun if he wants to take it. You can play conservatively and cut the one along the cushion and just bide his time, or he can take on the plant. Shaun Chipperfield being Shaun Chipperfield, he's going to take on the plant. And that was a bit of a risk, because if he misses it, he gives Scott just a half a chance. I think play the double, and if he gets it, it's game. But it's all or nothing. Oh, just misses. Just misses. I guess if there's any kind of comfort, it's cold comfort, but he's covered the path of the yellow into that pocket, so that's just going to make Shaun, navigated it well. That was just something that could potentially have gone wrong. Still could, because he has to control this well. Very nice. Five frames each coming up. Actually, a really intriguing frame. There's some frames of world rules that can just drag on in a bit of a stalemate, but both players there were constantly playing attacking pool, even though it was a defensive position. They were manoeuvring their situation, and I think that was tactically brilliant from Shaun Chipperfield to find a way. Scott needed to pull the trigger earlier, and I think he had a chance there where he really needed to go for it, and he didn't, and Shaun jumped in. As always, please do like and share the stream. If you're on YouTube, all you got to do is click that thumbs up, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel, because that helps to increase our exposure, and that's all we really ask from you. Just click on that thumbs up. If you're on Facebook, click on the like. Great to have you all watching today. Thanks for joining us. We're very, very close now to 10,000 subscribers on this channel. Please do help us reach that big milestone. If, of course, you sort of have subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell. Anytime we go live, you'll get a notification just pop up on your phone. In fact, they've set notifications this weekend for like a half an hour warning for when a game's about to start, which is always quite handy, I find. It means you're not going to miss out on any of the good action from the weekend. And up next, Chris Melling playing Chris Day, which I think is going to be another great match. My goodness, it shows how key that last frame was. That tactical frame. And that could well make the difference in this match. It looked like it was all going Scott Pope's way, and then suddenly that's just taken the sting out of his tail. He was 5-3 up, and now it's 6 frames to 5 down, and Shaun Chipperfield is on the hill, needing just one more. Scott Pope, however, will have the break in the next. If you want to keep up to date with any of the scores to see when any of your favourite players are playing, then it's qscore.com. Scott Pope lines up the break. The cut break again. He's not been his friend for the last couple of frames, but he's sticking with it. And I fear that he should have changed it up. If he eventually goes on to lose this match, and he can look back at the chances he's had, he could have quite conceivably won this match 7 frames to 2 with the chances he's had. It's not over yet. But the Reds don't look too bad. Shaun has a plant to top corner with an angle to develop the one on the side cushion. It's not forced to develop it if he doesn't want to. He can just land on it, which I think would probably be his preference. He could even leave it till the last ball. He's landed on it now. So he just needs to leave the right angle on the red to the right centre just to drift down. Just wants to be slightly off straight on the high side. I think that's okay. That's perfect. So you can just drop this into the middle and cue ball naturally drifts across. Not sure the red passes into the left centre. So he may have to find another plan for that ball. It may just pass, but I don't think it passes without nudging the black, and he would have to judge that cannon well. There's Bob Love in the background. He loves his pool. He's here every weekend playing, watching the main arena table. You can see Callum Singleton there on table 2 playing at the table, Neil Toms. This is a bit thinner. Another 4 inches apace, and this would have been an absolute gimme. Now he's got a big angle. I think he's still okay for the cut, doesn't have to play the double. Yeah, took his medicine and sent the... Oh, blimey. He's okay, but another half a roll. Wow. What a game. Well, that's a win for Shaun Chipperfield, but I think he'll be glad to come through that one. Let's go and hear his views. Don't forget, after this one, Chris Melling playing Chris Day, but let's go and hear from Shaun Chipperfield in the interview room. Joined by Shaun after that win. Shaun, that looked like a bit of a slog out there.
It was. Yeah, typical first round game. Bit of a struggle. Just happy to get through.
Yeah.
What more can you say to that, really? I felt like every time I had a clearance on, it was a tough clearance. But if I missed, he had dollies, and I felt like that every time. I don't know if that's how I looked on TV.
I mean, I think I said at one point when you were behind that you really hadn't done anything wrong at that point. I mean, it was as you say, there was a really tough clearance on, and he has the dollies. But at 5-3 up, I mean, conceivably, he could have already won the game by then with the amount of chances he had.
I mean, he put two. He had a fluke black and then a swerve which went off my ball, and I think, that was still only 2-2 at the time. But at 5-3 down, I'm thinking, have I really done a lot wrong?
Yeah.
I didn't feel great. Like, I didn't feel like I was cueing the ball that well. But then I didn't have many chances to sort of get my arm going. And in the end, that tactical frame kind of helped me.
Yeah.
Albeit he obviously had a chance to win that frame in the end with the double, but that probably changed the match, really.
Yeah, I mean there was a point there, and it was at 5-3. He looked like he was flying, and you thought this was going to be one-way traffic, and that tactical frame came just at the right time. Just took the sting out of his tail a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean I just nicked the frame before. I can't remember how. My mind is just blank at the minute. So I went 5-4, and then the tactical frame come, which I was happy enough with because. I think he broke. He went dry, and then I took about a minute or two to figure out which colour set I was going to go for. Because again, it was another difficult layout. Yeah. In my head, I was thinking if I go yellows, I can play the double across, cover the bag at worst by playing the plant onto that yellow near the black. And I think I got about one shot in and I missed. So, then he obviously took control, and then we had to just tap around for 10-15 minutes, and luckily I won it. So
you mentioned typical first round match, but sometimes those games can kick you into gear, can't they? I mean, it was a tough game, but now it's behind you. You're through into the third round now. So
do I play tonight? Do you know?
I don't actually.
I'll probably do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you will. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just happy to get through. I've got another chance to find my cue action a little bit. Yeah. And hopefully kick on.
Loads of deep runs at the moment. A final in the last, another one this weekend.
Yeah. I had a bit of a couple of shockers last weekend, which was wasn't how I've been playing, but hopefully I can put that behind me and kick on here. So
well done, mate.
Thank you.
Well done. See you in the later stages.
Hope so.
Cheers, Shaun.
Cheers, mate.